We have earlier we have discussed about the how we are logging to the HANA database means using the system user. Then I am also using the system user. You guys also using the system user. Then where is the security here? So in between us, someone deleted something. Then how can we track it here? Right? So we cannot track it anything from here. Right? So there, then there is a concept is called the security, which means every person they have to log in to their individual email id, their individual email id we have to authenticate, individual email id we have to authenticate it here. So that is the security part here. So normally why we need security for databases especially, right? So as a basis consultant we need access to db as well, right? Why? Because we are the database administrators, right? We should know about the database. We have to operate the database here. So why we need security for the database? So network level we have the security, operating system level we have the security, network layer security, operating system level, SAP layer, SAP side we have the SAP user ID password. Then DB side also why we need security. So first of all, why we require the security to the our devices, our products? Anyone?
Data loss should not be happen, and
Yeah, that's one of the thing. So to prevent the data loss from the unauthorized users, right? Unauthorized users. That is also one important point. So why we need means to protect our data. Why? Because HANA is all the data residing into the HANA database here. When you are connecting to the HANA database, you need the user ID password to log in here. So for to protecting the important data from the unauthorized access, and also we should follow the standard company policies, security compliance we have to follow it. So as per the organization they will develop the some security policies, we need to use that security policies. So that's why to meet this one we need user id and password. We need user id and password to the HANA side here. So here same way, HANA also providing the security in the database level. HANA database is the multi-tenant databases. There are the multiple databases can be created. So, but each tenant database, we need the security, right? Definitely, it's required the security for the each and every tenant system database and tenant database also here. So, HANA is providing there are the multiple security features they are providing to the users here. For the HANA database, they are providing the multiple security features here. Those are called so suppose if you go to the security here, in the security we have right click. In the security we have the right click and click on the create new user. So they have the user authentication methods, then roles based. So let me write it here. What are the security features which SAP HANA is providing here? So below are the security features here. One is the user and the role management, user and role management here. The second one is the authorization. Even though you have the user and the role, definitely you should be required the authorization. Then authentication should be happen here. And also the encryption of the data here, right? Encryption of data, encryption of the data here. In the in the persistency layer means OS layer here. And second one is the encryption of data in network layer also we can encrypt it here. So encrypt it here. So in the persistency layer and in the encryption layer also. So encryption layer means in the data folder, operating system level, file system level also we have the encryption. So there are the multiple security features. These are the security features here, which is providing by HANA here. These are the security features here. So user and role management here. So every user, they need one user ID and password to log into the your HANA database here. So if you see here, user ID, right? User ID is required here. So suppose if I create my user here, then not only user, we can also, as part of the authentication, you can see the user ID password based authentication. Then, and also SAML2 configuration. These are the authentication features, authentication methods. So user ID and role management, then authentication. They are the multiple authentication. So you can log in with the user ID, password, or SAML2 mechanism, one of the corporate logon ticket based mechanism, certificate based mechanism, Kerberos based mechanism, and SAP assertion ticket based mechanism. These all are the methods, authentication mechanism, how the user will be authenticated in the database level. Either you have to use the user ID password or just certificate based authentication, how they want to use it here. So you can choose these are the authentication methods here. These are the authentication methods which is providing by the SAP here. Authentication methods which is providing by the SAP here. SAP authentication methods here. So then authorization concept here. This box is called the authorization. This is the authentication methods, user ID, then authorization. Authorization means once user is authenticated from the interface, what level of authority, what level of privileges, what he want to access, all those things here, it will be authenticated here, authorization here. So we have the authorization here, authorization and authenticated here. So user ID and role management here. So once user is authenticated, just created the user ID and password, just click on the deploy, then user is created here, right? One user is created here, right? See here, Ravi user is created in the user ID field here, right? Now I will authenticate the user with my user, right? Ravi user. So old password, then new password, done. Password is changed. Then I have added the tenant database with my user, Ravi user. Then if you open and see what will happen here. You cannot open the admin, you don't have the required privileges. So it means you are just authenticated. You don't have the required fields. You don't have the required authorization. You don't have the required authorizations to access the, you don't have the required authorization to access the fields in the HANA system here, right? You don't have. So if you are in the HANA database, you can access, you are logging with the system user means super user. So you can access any tabs, anything you can access anywhere, whatever you want, you can do it here. But I want to restrict. I don't want to give the wider access to my junior people also. I want to restrict. In this case, you can use the authorization concept. You can use the authorization concept here. There the multiple authorization fields are available here. Now just you authenticated via just your user, but nothing is assigned here. You cannot delete. You are not able to enter into your one of the field also. You are unable to open anything here in the system. You are unable to open. You are unable to create anything here. So because you are not the authorized person, you cannot create, you cannot save anything, you cannot do anything here. So because you are not the authorized person, you are not the authorized person to do this one. You don't have the authorization and privileges. right? So in this case, how can we create the roles? How can we assign the required access? What level of access this user is required here? Is the developer, then we can assign the developer role. The role will tell who is this user. The role will tell who is that user. So required role we have to assign to the required role, we have to assign to the people here. So this authorization is required whenever user trying to access some button, some fields, something, some data, some required authorizations are required. These authorizations are located in the system here. Either the privileges or roles we can create it, we can grant to the user here. Depending upon the authorization provided to the user, he can access the respective object, that is called the privileges. So privileges can be granted to the user directly. To the user, we can grant it here. We can grant it to the here. So that when the user having the some privileges or authorization, when he is trying to access something in the database level, it will check the authorization. Okay, this user is trying to access something, but he has the respective roles, then system allow you to access those things here. So there the multiple privilege types are available in the SAP here. Privilege types here. Okay, these are the privileges types here. Types of privileges here. Here we have the system. One is the system privileges, right? Then second one is the object privileges, system privileges, object privileges, then analytic privileges. Then fourth one is called the package privileges. Then fifth one is called the application privileges. Then sixth one is called the privileges on users. Privileges on users here. There the total 6 privilege types are available here. See here, these are the privilege types here. System privileges. So which means in this system privileges, so you created the one user, what you want to, what this user is do? Is the backup administrator or backup operator? Is the audit admin, audit operator? Who is this person? Why you created? There is the, you have the separate, so separate, you have the privileges are there here, system privileges. He is the user manager. Then you can create the user admin, you can assign to the him. Not only user administration, he is the catalog reader. Not only catalog reader, he is the backup administrator. Not only backup administrator, he is doing the multiple activities here. Then you can assign the multiple privileges to the user. Multiple privileges to the user, you can assign to him. Now you assigned the some privileges. Now, if you ask user to open it, then he will open the respective tabs now. Sir, now how he is opened now? What we done it now? So we assigned the some privileges. See here I logged in with the my user here, right? But I am assigning from the system user. So previously this user is unable to open anything, but is now able to open. Why? Means we have assigned this some system privileges. So that is the reason he is able to log in now. If you delete it, delete these privileges. Now ask user, Ravi user to open it, then he may face the issues. You don't have the required privileges. So here privileges are allowing users to open the respective administrator things here. So based upon the user designation, this user is from the developer, this user is from the security, this user is the functional. So depends upon the user role, we have to assign the respective privileges, we have to assign to the users here. Okay, that is the one thing here. Next one, so we don't want to user to assign the respective privilege, we want object privileges. Object means Object privileges means here, system privilege means, so he can access anything here, like database creating, monitoring, performance, license, audit, anything he can access, right? He is the basis user. We can assign the system privileges here. Object privileges means, object privileges are, object means table level privileges here. We don't want to assign, he is the just user, developer. He want only one table access. We want only one schema access, one table access. We want some SQL only the table level privileges, only table level privileges. Tables are called the object. We want only access the, we want the person, they want to access only one object, one create object, one thing here. Then we can just assign, suppose we want to access the /bic. Here we want to do the some creation, we want to do the some alteration. So then we can assign the this privileges to the this person, Ravi person, so that what he can do, he can only access the /bic related schema, he can access it here. /bic related schema, he can access it here. So just let's just log off, then log in. So if you go to the schema, here he can only access the /bic related things, he can access. /bic related tables, he can access it. So he can only access the table, only particular tables he can access it here. If any tables, he can only access the respective tables, he can access it here. Why? Because here in the object privileges, only you given the one object. So these object privileges are called the SQL privileges that use it to give the authorizations to the respective database object, either read permissions or write permissions you have to give it here. To access to the database object, the user is required the object privileges. For that schema, he required the object privileges here. So he is not the administrator, he is a developer. For the developer user, what he required access to the schema, some specific tables. So we can assign to the schema, then some specific table access we have given to the user. So you don't want to access anything, you need only access to the table. Then instead of giving the wider access, full access, just assign this object privileges to the user, so you can access the only the specific privileges. That is called the, so here. The next one is called the analytical privileges here. Analytical privileges means here are used to allow to read the data on the database level, some information model, some calculation models here. So here, sometimes what I told you in the last class, users will develop the some content here. So not here, here you don't have authorization. So with system user, you have the super user. So user will develop the some content here, some privileges they have developed here, right? Training content package they have developed here. You want to assign only this one to the user. You want to only assign this one, remaining is not required. Then you can assign the remaining. So the remaining packages we can assign to the user here. Only that analytical privileges which developed by the user. So normally not the user, developer. Normally developer will do the this content tool, content folder. He will develop the some so packages. He will develop the some packages and he will develop the some analytical privileges. All those things they will develop here. Jet training. He need access to only this training package. So like that. So we will develop here, right? Like that we will develop here. So not we, the developers, they will do the all kind of work here. So we want assign, we want to give this one only to that particular persons only. Particular persons, we want to give this one. In this case, so you can assign, in this case, you can assign these privileges to the your respective people, respective person, you can assign it to the respective person here. So that only the jet training related you can assign to the him, then he can access the all those things here. You can access the all those things here. That is called the analytical privileges. It's purely developer related. So developer, whatever the developer, suppose developer, they want to work only the development related things. Whatever the package he created, you need access to only that package. Then in that case, that package we can create it here. That package we can create it here. Then go to the analytical privileges. Just assign this package to the here that user. That is called the analytical privileges here. Right? Next one is the application privileges. Application privileges here. Sorry, not the application. Package privileges. Package privileges are authorization to the individual packages. Suppose the developer will create some packages here. Suppose we created the one package, Z training package, Z training. So you want give only that package. You need access to only that package. Then we can allocate we can assign to that package here. Here is searching. It is searching here. It will give the result here. It will give the items here. Let me log out and log in. Just to log off. So not this one, not this one. Here. Package privileges. Respect to this purely are for the developers who developed their object. Suppose we will get some requirement like one user, we have to give only access to the particular packages. Then we will assign to the only the particular package we will assign to the here. That's it. We don't want to allow users to access the any other packages. As for the safety, security measures, other packages you don't need access. Then how can we restrict it? So by allocating the restricted package here, we can only access the respective packages here, right? Those things we can assign to the here. That is called the package privileges. Means here we will only assign the HANA packages which are there in the repository. So see here only we can assign the HANA package. These are the multiple packages here. So just we can assign the respective package to the user. So we can only use the Z training, SAP training. We created the SAP training. We want the user to access only this training package. Then we can assign. We can only read. Then we can assign this package. So Ravi user will only access the Z training package here. So now see here insufficient privileges. Just right click, log off, then log in. Why? Because after authorization, you need to log off and log in. Then you see here only you have execute on the repo repository here. You have assigned only Z training only. Then we have not assigned the any analytical privileges here, right? So like this, we can create this packages here, right? Application privileges here. Application means application privileges are required in the some applications, SAP level applications, HANA access applications. So these are the applications. Suppose you need access to the backup, you need access to the some tracing, you need access to the security, you need access to the some security part, trace part, some other applications here. So those things we can back operator application privilege. Those things we can give it to the user here, right? Users we can provide it to the here. So those are the application privileges. Package privilege on the users. You have already one user is there. We need similar roles to this user also. Then we can assign this user. We can assign the similar user assigned to the here, right? That is called the privilege on users. Normally we will use the system privileges or object privileges. Normally security we won't deal. Okay, there is a separate security team for every organization. They will deal the security part. But for our understanding purpose, we are discussing about the security, right? System privileges, object privileges, analytical privileges. These are the authentication types of privileges here. What type of privileges we are assigning to the users, right? These are the here. So if you put the validity to, suppose like today you created, we want tomorrow this user should be logged out. Then you have to give it here. So this user is valid until only tomorrow at 11:11 same time he will be logged out from the system. He is not the authorized person. If you want to log the user, we can deactivate the user. If you want to unlock the user, then user is locked now. You want to unlock, you can unlock the user here. So lock, unlock. If you want to reset the password, you can set the password of the user. Multiple things we can do it from here in the console, right? If you want to password reset, you can type the password and confirm the password. You will change the password in the next login. If we want to lock the user, we can lock it here, right? These things we can perform it in the systems here, right? Like this, you can create the multiple users here. Multiple users we can create it here. So normally here user, while creating the user here, this is the authentications, authorizations, right? This is the authorizations. Types of authentication means either user ID, password, SAML, SSO configuration, multiple authentication methods you can use it here. So user and role management here, right? So first of all, how many users are there here? So how many users to access the in the HANA user and role management here, HANA user and role management here, we have there are the two types of users are there here. There are the two types of users in the HANA, two types of users in the HANA. One is the technical user, means we are the technical users, means DBA users. We are the database administrator users here. So who directly work in the HANA database, creating deletions, whatever he want to do, those are the types of users, DBA users, our users. We means system user, Ravi user, sys. Those are the users here. Second user is called the real users, means database users, real users. Real users means who wants to work in the HANA database, they need the separate database. So technical user means we as a administrators, we are the technical users. We can do anything in the system. We have the super user access, right? But real users, we should not provide the super user access to the real users. Only whatever is the user, like who are trying to work in the HANA database, he want to only the particular package he want to access, we can give the particular package, particular object, particular table, we can assign the particular table, particular things we can provide it here, right? Those are the real users here. Those are the real users here. So those are the real users we can create it here. They are the two types of technical users and so real users here. Technical users and real users we can create it here. So that is the one thing we should be know, right? So here, so normally to create the users here, normally you can see here, right click on the system here, security. So users, then you can create the new user, we can create it here. New user, we can create it here. So before creating the user, so we have to define the roles. There is a role concept here, roles. So which means there are already roles are available. So monitoring role, for monitoring users, we have to give the monitoring role. For modeling users, we have to give the modeling user. Public user, we have to give the public. Restricted users, HANA content. There is a multiple roles are there here already. You want to create one new role, dedicated your organization role, then new role we have to create it, so that is the basis, is the monitoring person here. Then create the one role, then what things you want to assign to this role here. If a monitoring role, so is the operator, read, catalog, remote source, you want to assign this one. Any objects you want to assign it to the here, then you can assign the objects here. You want to what schemas, BIC, BI, AFL. So related schemas are there here. You want to assign the schemas here. So like this, we can, what you want to do here. You want to alter, you want to create anything. Just assign it, save it. So there is a role is created here. There is a role got created in the system here. If you see here, that basis morning. So whenever you are creating the user, click on the new user. So there is a one, you are trying to create the one basis user, monitoring user. Then directly instead of assigning all those things, Just assign the monitoring role to the user. So this user is created. Simple. You don't need to assign each and every time. You don't need to assign the system privileges. All these things you can save it as a role. In that role, so whatever you assign, that will be created as a role. So whatever this user is having access, all access you will get it out. All the access you will get it out. So which means, so while every user creation, you don't need to go to the object privileges, system privileges, package privileges. Just you can save it as in the role. Then whenever the basis administrator joins, then you can assign the gem. Then you can create the one more developer security like that. Few roles we can create it. We can assign the respective roles to the each person. So they will work it they will work on the whatever the roles it is assigned to the user. He will only work on that authorization only. So here you can assign the roles or just to directly go to the system privilege, you can assign to the here. Instead of going here, all those things, all these actions, you can save it as a role. In this role, you can assign to the user. Simple. Right? That is also one method here. This is called the users and the role creation in the HANA database. Got it right? So users and role creation in the HANA database here. Anyone, any questions here? User creation. Normally, it's not our responsibility, not our duty. So to create the users, roles, everything. But we should be aware of sometimes there is no database separate security team for DB. That time we should be aware how to create the users. Then some roles and responsibilities we should be required here. So that is the reason. That is the reason we want this thing here. That is the reason we want this thing here.
Sir, this SAML and SAP logon ticket, this one are there, the right side. So that one access way we are giving when the user is creating, by the time we'll give that one. No?
Right. Normally, what when the security team joins, they will first of all they will create the multiple roles here. Multiple roles they will create it. In the organization, how many users are there? What are the teams are there? Security, developer, then administrator. So L1 team, L2 team, like that they will create the n number of roles. They will create it. They will keep it in the system. Whenever user joins, whenever we ask user to create the user, then they will ask who is this user? Is the developer? Then he will assign the developer role to the directly. He will assign the developer role to the directly. He will assign the monitoring role or developer role to the user, so that he will perform only development related activities. Why? Because they already created several roles here. Several roles they have already created and they have saved. They have shared here. So they will assign this one. Also, they can use the existing one or they can create the new things also. They can create it. So while creating the user, we have to assign these roles to the user so that whatever this role having the authorization, he can only perform that related activities. Okay.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
if we select SAP logon ticket, the user can only log in with SAP logon, or
no, another database level. You are providing the database level security. This is the database level security things we are discussing. So
okay, what does it mean, sir? SAP logon ticket means
okay.
We
This
are
ticket logon ticket method means there is a tickets. Tickets means certificates. So
okay.
certificates means nothing. So that means here we cannot test those things, but here SAP logon ticket here. If you choose this one, if you choose this option here, we choose this option for SAP logon ticket means there is a ticket based authentication we should be required here. Logon ticket based authentication we should be required. So we have to configure some configurations we have to perform it here, ticket based authentication. So which means user one you have created that is done, but is the logon ticket based method. Now you want to ask that user to log into the SAP system. So which means, suppose if you ask that user to authenticate, but you don't have any password, only authentication based, you can log in here, certificate based authentication. Certificate based authentication means either browser level you have to open or something you have to open in that time. So means you cannot enter the password. That is, you don't have a password, only certificate you have to enter.
Yes, I got it.
Certificate based authentication means sometimes when you are logging to the SAP systems or some other browser URL, automatically it will be authenticated without asking any user ID and password. So that is called the certificate based authentication. These all are the certificate based authentications. These are the SAP standard based authentication. This is our own certificate based authentication. This is our maybe if you want to any identity provider or any other identity providers, we can add that identity providers. Yes, that we can add that identity provider here, so that suppose you are using the Azure AD identity provider. You don't want all users from here. You have already users in the Azure AD. So those users you want to access from HANA Studio also. So you need to first of all integrate your HANA system into the Azure AD. You want to assign Azure AD, then you can access it here.
In the company, if we don't have security team, is it our responsibility to create rules?
It's not responsible. They have to hire it. Otherwise,
Okay.
so if you know some knowledge on the security team, then we can create the users, and some users we can create it here. So normally every organization definitely they have some security team, so they will take care of all these activities, security activities. We don't need to worry about the security part, because every company they have some own team, so they will take care of all those things here. Normally user ID is the database level, right? So normally people will create the user ID and password based authentication. Just go to the here, create the user, enter the password, then assign the role. That's it. This rare cases people will use it, but user ID password based authentication is normally everybody will use it here. So normally every site you are logging, then definitely you need to enter the user ID and password. So that time you can enter the user ID passwords here. That is the user ID and password based authentication method. Normally we are logging with the system user. Now what you can do, you can log in with your own user, then create your individual users, create your own individual users here. Then in this case, whoever do whatever he is doing, everything will be tracked here. Everything will be tracked here in the systems. Everything will be tracked in the systems here. Who are logging, what he is doing. We go to the landscape tab, performance tab, sessions. You see what are the users are logged into the systems here, how many users, so what they are doing in the systems here. So here you see administrator user is login, some Vamshi user is login, then Ravi user also logged into the system. How many users are logged into the system here, database user. So many things, what he is doing, a lot of things here. Administrator user also doing a lot of things here. Let me, if I open my user, I am opening the Ravi user, then Ravi user also will be displayed here. So in this way, we can track it, what he is doing in all the information, it will be tracked here. All the information, it will be tracked here. That is what the authorizations and concept here. So if you log in individual user ID, then we know what this person is doing. If some issues, then we can cancel the user and everything here. That's why user ID and password is required to access the HANA databases. Okay, so here not only security, normally user security, here you have some security principles also here. If you go to the security concept here you can see some auditing. We can create some audit things here. SAP level, how we created some audit policies. If you do anything in SAP level, that will be tracked. Here also, if you are doing something in the HANA table, HANA level, database level, you are deleting something, we can create some policies, audit policies, we can create it here. So some policies like deletion. I want to track all the deletions here. What are the actions here? Suppose if a user deletes something, Suppose user done something, everything I want to track it here. So everything will be tracked here. All the successful? No. All the actions will be tracked here. Is it only information level? I want warnings, emergency, all those things I want to track it here. Who is the users here? You want all the users? Or you want only specific user? I want to track only specific user related audits. So now what will happen here? Now if the Ravi user login, if you delete something, the one log will be tracked, one log will be recorded here in the system. So tomorrow during the auditing, we can find out what he has done it, then we can take the respective action for this user, right? So those are the auditing. Normally every company yearly once the audit will happen. During the auditing time, what will they will audit all the actions, auditing, so everything they will do it. What we have done in the system, if you deleted anything, if you move it anything, if you copied anything, all actions will be tracked, especially in the banking sector systems. For accessing their banking databases is the critical. Normally we won't get access to the banking servers, banking databases, especially here. In that case, in this case, we can use they will set up the audit policies clearly. They will set up the audit policies here. So something goes wrong, immediately they will track it us. Something wrong, so immediately we will be fired from the company. So that's why they will set up clearly the audit policies here. So that's why in the banking sector systems, nothing is available here. So just we have to go, mobile phones also not allowed in the banking sector systems. So we have to go, we have to limited access. We have to carefully access the database monitoring. Then we have to come out. That's it. We cannot do anything in the database level. So these are the audit policies here. Some organization, they won't take care. They will just disable the audit policies and everything here. That's it. Then password policy. Some companies, they are the strict with the password policies. The password minimum length will be the 6 characters or 8 characters. There should not be any uppercase. There should be a special character should be required. So many things like number of failed attempts, 6 attempts, then should be failed. Then we should not use the last 5 passwords. Initial password, if you don't reset the password after 7 days, it will be expired. So those things is available. We are aware of, right? So in the company or in the banking sector, you should follow the minimum 8 characters or 12 characters. Then there is no special characters, one uppercase. Those things we can set here. If you set it here, that will applicable for all the users who are resetting their passwords. Some people, they will put the knowing password, some welcome, London. So something like we will put the passwords in our password list, blacklisted passwords. Some London, something like that, we will put it out, some recognized passwords, right? So if you put these passwords, what will happen when you are resetting? If you put in the passwords in the blacklisted, you are resetting the passwords with the London that is in the blacklisted password. So system will not allow you to use these passwords. So you should not use these passwords, right? So why? Because these are the knowing passwords. Hackers will know these passwords. Some welcome, someone India, they will set it out, India 1, 2, 3, right? So London, some UK, USA, something like that, we will put the password, simple naming convention. So the hackers simply recognize these passwords. They will log in with our ID, they will hack it. So these passwords, we can blacklist it as well. So consecutive passwords. So many things we can use it here. So those related settings, we can do it from here, right? Minimum 1 uppercase characters, minimum 1 special characters. So like this, we can set it out from here, right? So if his attempt 3 is 3 failed logon attempts, immediately his user ID should be locked, not the 6 times, 3 times. Like that, I set the rules. I changed the rules, depends upon to follow my company, my organization security rules, standards. I set the passwords here. 3 times he attempts the long password, 4th time he will be locked. He should not use the last 5 used passwords. Some people, they will put the same password first time, second time, third time, 4th time, 5th time also he will put the same passwords, right? We should not use last 5 times passwords. I will change it to the 3. Depends upon the company policy. I will change it to 3. So these things, password policy related settings, we can change it in the security tab itself. And also audit policies, SAML identity providers. You want to create some identity providers in the system here. You want to create some identity providers, means you don't want to use some company, you want to use the company related identity providers, then you can use it here. And also the data volume security, you want to encrypt the data volume, you want to encrypt the log volumes, so we can encrypt it. Why? Because data, one copy of data, first data is storing into the RAM level, right? It will be encrypted. It will be encrypted format. It will store it. Same data, one copy of data, it will be stored into your file system level also, right? We discussed one copy of data, it will save into the data folder also. This data volume, the data it will be saving, either the user's passwords also it will be saving in the data folder, user passwords, user account numbers, user simply guess password, everything will be saving. So if the hacker hacks the data volume, what will happen? He will see all the passwords of the data volume, right? So instead of that, we can also encrypt the data volume, so that whatever the sensitive information that will be, it will be encrypted, means it will not show to the system, but system can read that one. That is the reason the encryption we can do that one, so that it will be not available for the user. So any hackers will not show the password. Sometimes if you show the password in the browser level, the password will be showed, right? So, but sometimes if you show the password in the data level, it won't show. It will give the in the different encrypted format, binary encrypted formats. So those things also security. I mean to say, the more security features we can do in the HANA Live. This is the HANA database providing the more security to the users here. Password policies, encryptions, all those things we can set it in the database level. More security passwords we can set to the users here. This is the main thing here. Okay, got it? Any questions from anyone? So what you can do, you can practice all those things here. Set some passwords in the blacklist, try to reset it. It won't work. So minimum 5 passwords you can use it. Choose this one. And also audit policies you can enable it. So that whatever you do, you delete something or you log out, you kill something, it will be tracked in the system level. So that during the auditing time we can open and we can see what you have done it. We have the track, we have the proofs, so that we can find that employees, right? So all those things we can track it here. Those things we can put it in the system level. Okay, so you can practice all those things here in the system.
Sir, when we turn on the other databases, whatever we have the REST databases, only system DB is working, sir. That means when we connect the studio, HANA Studio, only that one only it is working.
Which one?
The whatever we have, the tenant DB is not connecting.
No, which system DB we are connecting?
Either this I connected this one also. System DB is working, but tenant DB is not.
Tenant DB SID is the PD7, not the HD7. PD7 is the SID. Someone changed it to the PD7.
Okay.
See here, PD7 is the tenant DB SID. Someone changed it to the, so when you are adding here, what we have to do, you have provide the hostname instance number, then multi-container, tenant database name is the PD7, someone created like this. So you can use the PD7.
I have created with HD7, sir, while creating HD7 database.
I don't know who didn't do this one.
Okay.
I'm also not sure. I'm also tried previously. I am also with the HD7 only. It's not connecting. Then when I check in the system level, it's saying that PD7. Someone renamed it to the PD7. So I thought of PD7 like that I have added in the last class. Otherwise, what you can do, you can uninstall all those things. HD7, you can uninstall it. Just install one HD7 or one formal database. You can install it. Simple naming convention related database. You can install it. Share the database related details in the group. So everybody will connect to the database instead of confusion, right? Just
Yes, sir,
uninstall it. This
definitely.
all those things you can uninstall it. Okay. Make one good database naming convention. Maybe either SID or HD1 or HD2. Simply just share the details like what is the SID, what is the instance number. So just you can share these details. What is the system user? What is the password you can share so that everybody will connect to the database. They will create their own users. Then they can work it on it. Maybe someone
I have
created-
created, sir, one more database, HD4, and 04 is the instance number.
Is it available?
Yeah, it's available. I'm using
okay.
it daily. Yeah.
Yeah, I can share the same details in the group. So it's the 04.
Yeah, same password, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
London 2020.
Yeah. It's not available. We can just start it. So it will work.
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody will use same HD4. 04 is the instance number, system, and passwords you can use it. I will share it in the group so everybody will